Hey everyone, it's Albie. Welcome back to my channel. I have a fun review for you today. I finished a lovely arc that I was sent by a new author for me, Matilda Madison, and the work was called Worth Waiting For. It is a historical romance set in the 1830s in England. So some things I really enjoyed about this story was that it was a second chance romance. In chapter 1, our heroine Penelope marries Edward, who is the Earl of Canton, and he is the eldest brother of two sisters. So what was cool was, like, in a lot of historical romances, it sort of ends with a marriage or just about ends at the marriage. And if you think back to Jane Austen, it always like ended with the marriage and like, okay, she's married, her life's sort of done. She's kind of done having fun. She's going to be a wife and a mother now. So I thought it was cool that in this story, it was a second chance with a married couple. So Penelope and Edward have a big fight sort of right after their marriage. And if you look at from, I believe, chapter 1 to chapter 2, it does like time jump from 5 years. And we find out that Penelope has basically been banished away from the Ton to Scotland. And they're both sort of, I wouldn't say happy with the situation of being banished from one another, but it's not like they're wanting to get back together right away. And things change when a letter that Penelope writes to her husband is accidentally mailed. And in the letter, Penelope reveals that in their short, brief time together as a married couple, she got pregnant and had a daughter. So she basically writes, hey, just to let you know, you have a 4-year-old daughter. Talk to you later, sort of thing. And that sort of changes everything for Edward. And he sends for Penelope and their 4-year-old daughter Mary to come back to the estate. But while at the estate, we find out that Edward may or may not have been unfaithful to Penelope during the entire time they were separated. So I found this story to be a little toxic, but I don't necessarily mind a fictional toxic relationship. It reminded me a lot of like Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, and I kind of, it's interesting to read about and see. I definitely want to live out a toxic relationship, but that sort of very passionate to both ends relationship is interesting, I think, to read. I don't know. Maybe I've been in a toxic relationship. I don't know. But it was just unique. I liked that it was a second chance romance, and I liked that it was a sibling sort of thing as well. We had Edward and his two younger sisters, who are Catherine and Lydia. And they were both really fun in the story. Catherine is a 25-year-old sort of recent widow. She was like married off to an older man, and it wasn't that great of a match. And Lydia is 20, so she's like just come out to society, so that should be interesting. I'm hoping that Matilda Madison writes more in the series. It says the Worth series, so I'm assuming there will be more, and I hope that Catherine gets us like basically a first chance romance, because her first marriage was to an old kind of mean guy. So that'd be cool to see her get her own romance. Some other tropes that were in this were marriage of convenience, second chance romance, enemies to lovers, and secret baby. So those were the main tropes. If you're looking for specific tropes, those were the ones that I found to be relevant in the story. I will say there were some triggers for childhood trauma, loss of parent, toxic relationship, mistress, and missing child, but that's very brief. It's just sort of like a mystery thing at the end, but nothing harmful or scary for the child. Not to spoil, but I wanted to let everyone know. But overall, I like the story. I gave it 4.5 out of 5, which I rounded up to 5 for Goodreads. My spice level was, I think it was a 2, even though it had a lot of sex scenes. They weren't very explicit. They were more what you kind of expect in a traditional historical romance, where it is sex on page, but nothing, too crazy graphic, if that makes sense. So I give it a 2. I think if you're fine with reading sex scenes, this isn't anything vulgar or whatever, you know. I don't mind extreme stuff in the stories, but I like to let my listeners and fellow readers know. So I hope you enjoyed this sort of brief review from me. It was a lovely story, and I look forward to reading more from Matilda Madison. She's on Amazon, and I believe this book was $4.99, and I think it's well worth it. It was about 320 pages, but when I read a book on my Kindle, it seems to be like 70 pages. Like, I read them so quickly that even if it's like 500 pages, it feels like 150 rather than 500 for some reason. So, fairly quick read for me. Love the story. I love the characters. Like I said, kind of a toxic relationship, but I was kind of here for it, you know, in that Elizabeth Taylor, Richard Burton sense. So, yeah. What is a new author that you've just discovered? I've enjoyed Matilda Madison and hope to see more. What is a new author that you've been liking? Let me know in the comments below. Well, everyone, I hope you had a wonderful day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, as well as comment. And I will see you soon for another video. Bye, everyone.